Holly Kovo from Fitting Fitness In. I'm a personal trainer and nutrition specialist, and welcome to Get Healthy with Holly. Happy New Year! It's January, and in this new year, you're going to hear lots of promotions for our new fitness programs and diet programs everywhere. It gets to be a little overwhelming. I don't usually make a New Year's resolution. I don't know if you do, but what I do is I put a focus for the year. I have something that I'm going to focus on for that year. And I ask my active agers to also focus on that item. So I'm trying to think of something that everybody can do as opposed to the New Year's resolution. And so this year, our focus is small changes can make big differences. A big difference. Now, who said that first? Theodore Roosevelt. He said, a small change can make a big difference. You are the only one who can make our world a better place to inhabit. Now, we're not talking about the whole world. We're just talking about our life, and small changes in your lifestyle can make a difference. When you make small changes, it's not so overwhelming, and it's a little easier to do. Plus, when you make those small changes, they become habits. And the more that you have those habits, the more it leads to a healthier lifestyle. So what small change can you make in your lifestyle that can make a big difference for you? Maybe if you're drinking a can of soda every day, you substitute water for that soda. You can lose 15 pounds in a year by doing that. If you can't get rid of that soda, then you need to do some kind of activity or exercise that's going to help burn those calories. So it's a choice. Maybe your favorite snack, you eat those little mini pretzels, they're 110 calories. Eating those snacks, and if you eliminate those snacks, you can lose 11.5 pounds in 1 year. But if you want to keep those snacks, you're going to have to do like 75 minutes of kickboxing a week, and kickboxing is tough. One Dunkin' Donuts munchkin is 67 calories, but if you eliminate that every day, you're going to lose 7 pounds. But if you want to keep it, you probably have to clean your house for an hour and 45 minutes straight, no breaks, in order to burn those calories. So think about that. One Grand Skim latte from Starbucks is 160 calories. That adds 17 pounds a year. But if you take that off, that takes away 17 pounds a year. Or if you want to keep that Grand Skim latte, that's 4 hours of walking a week. A 1 hour walk 4 times a week. So by eliminating one thing of your daily food intake, you can lose weight in the long run, or you can substitute with something else to make it a healthier option. Maybe swap a high-calorie, high-fat ice cream for a low-fat yogurt, frozen yogurt. I did that a few years ago. Maybe it's adding a 10-minute walk to your day. Or if it's too cold, because we are in New England and it was 6 degrees the other day, maybe you want to stay inside and walk up and down your staircase. If you have a staircase, walk up and down it 5 times in a row. That really gets your heart going, starts burning some calories. Another thing, I tried this during lockdown because everything slowed down and I was able to actually meditate. I tried it many times, but it hadn't really stuck. But during lockdown, I was able to meditate, and there's plenty of apps that you can do. Even if you add a 5-minute meditation, first thing when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed, that's a great thing to add because meditation calms your body, calms all your systems in your body, helps you to focus better, and it's healthier for you. It's good for de-stressing as well. So another quick change that you could make is start reading food labels when you're buying food in the grocery store. And that helps you make a more informed decision when you're buying food. Maybe start reducing the amount of sugar that you eat. Maybe put the snack foods in the cabinet so they aren't as visible, and put the fruit out on the counter. I just bought a new banana tree with a fruit basket, and I'm looking forward to it. Comes tomorrow. I'm looking forward to having that on my counter, or maybe even on the kitchen table, and so that we reach for the fruit instead of going into the snack cabinet. One other thing that you could do is you could prep your lunch the night before if you're going into work and you bring your lunch. This way you can make better decisions, and in the morning you have a little extra time, you might be able to do a little exercise or meditation. Maybe you want to go to bed a little earlier and get more sleep. Just little things. So you need to sit down and think about what little change can I make in my daily life, in my lifestyle, that can make a big difference. Maybe you want to focus on portion control. And if you're a wine drinker, maybe you don't want such a big glass of wine. Maybe you got to go to a smaller glass. Perhaps this is the glass that you use. This you can substitute for this glass. This is a little smaller. Or substitute for this glass. This is one I drink out of now. Or you can go even smaller to this glass. Portion control, not just in what you drink. By the way, also my motto, a glass of wine, a glass of water, a glass of beer, a glass of water. You want to make sure you have that water, helps fill you up and it helps keep you hydrated. Maybe it's not just that, but it's also the food. Yes, I have a cheese head. My brother lives in Wisconsin and we went to visit and we visited Lambeau Field. So I got this in the gift shop. But you want to reduce your portion size. Even this is a big piece of cheese. This is a 1 ounce piece of cheese and that's a portion size. So portion sizes, whether it's what you drink or what you eat, maybe that's something you want to focus on because that will make a huge difference. All right, I'm going to show you 3 simple appetizer recipes that you can make anytime. They're high protein and low carb, and maybe you want to make it on Super Bowl Sunday. My first recipe I want to show you is lemon chicken skewers. And this is a great appetizer. You just make smaller skewers. And I couldn't find small skewers, so I had to cut the tall ones down, especially since I'm going to put them and grill them in my air fryer. So I started the marinade early this morning so that the chicken has been marinating. And the marinade for this chicken, and this is boneless chicken. I actually use chicken tenders, but you can use chicken breasts. Cut them into 1-inch cubes. So this is about 1 pound of chicken. The marinade is 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1/2 of a teaspoon of oregano, some salt, some pepper, and 2 garlic cloves minced. That's the marinade. I made that this morning. I put the chicken in it, so it's been marinating for a few hours now. You want to marinate it at least 10 minutes up to a day beforehand. And on the skewers, then I'm going to alternate the chicken with some pepper. And it calls for red pepper, but as you'll see, I'm going to be making another recipe that has red coloring. Red in it, has tomatoes, and so I'm trying to do a lot of different colors so that your table will have a lot of different colors on it. So let me just cut some more of this. So I'm using an orange pepper, and you just want to make it, actually this might be a little too much rind. There we go. This one has a little too much as well. You want to make sure you get the flesh of the meat. Get those out of the way. All right, cut those in half, cut those in half. Have some more, may not need all of this pepper. But it's always good to have color. So, and any leftovers I can use in a salad, no problems. I am going to use my air fryer. In the air fryer, I am going to use my grill attachment. It's very handy dandy. I love my air fryer. I use it minimum of once a week, most likely 2 or 3 times a week. It's really handy, especially now that it's just Steve and I at home. It's very handy to make a meal for just 2 people. So let me start with my skewer and let me start making some of these. So just alternate between chicken and pepper. Now remember, this is going to be an appetizer, so we probably only want 3 pieces of chicken on there because it's an appetizer, and you want it to fit on my grill. Okay, let's make some more. Again, I love to have color. Now I'm going to make a dip. Once this is cooking, I'm going to make a nice dip that's made out of plain Greek yogurt, some cucumbers, and some mint. Oh, also in here in this marinade is the garlic. I don't know if I said that. I may have missed that. All right, here we go. It does get a little messy. Ooh, definitely garlic in there. I smell it. It kind of stays on your fingers. You have to use some lemon juice to get that smell off. Whoops. But make sure you don't have any cuts on your fingers because you put that lemon juice on. Ooh, it hurts. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna make, I was hoping I can make, well, we'll probably just do 4 of them for now. Maybe I can squeeze a few more on there. Let's make that one a little neater. So, any other thoughts on what you could change? What small change you could make this year to make a big difference? You know, maybe you could increase the size of the weights that you use. One year, our focus was build more muscle. And so I had everybody increase the size of the weight that they used. And everybody was surprised that they could do it. It's a little tough in the beginning, but after you do it and you get stronger, it's easier and you feel so much better and you're that much stronger. Let me put this one across like that. How's that? So I have 5 skewers. I have a little more than I need right now, but that's okay. And I'm going to put it in here. 5 minutes on one side at 350 degrees, maybe 375. And I just turn this one way and then come back to the 5. And I'll let that cook while I put together the dip. So this is 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt. Then you can use a little salt and pepper. This is half a cup of diced cucumbers. And this is a tablespoon of diced mint. You could use parsley if you'd rather. I just thought mint is a little, it adds a little bit of a nice uplift. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of salt in here. So I'm not big on the salt. A little bit of the pepper. Let's pour this in my handy dandy little spatula. And the cucumber. So this dip you can make ahead and put it in the refrigerator. Here we go, and then let's just mix it all together. It's colorful too, you know me with color. And if you're having this on the same table as everything else, then it really lightens things up. I mean, you could use this dip for a lot of different things. You could use this dip and put in there and dip toasted pita bread in this. Yeah, you could use chips, but you could also use vegetables. All right, so that's the dip. Let's move over to making some Caprese skewers with a little balsamic drizzle. Ooh, Actually, while we're waiting, let's turn over these. Can't hurt to do that. Turn them over. Oh, they're looking good. Woo. Whoop. And flip this guy. Nice. All right. Just put them in for a few more minutes. Now that they're flipped. Okay. So these Caprese skewers are a little bit of tomato, mozzarella, fresh mozzarella ball, some basil, and then I'm going to top it with my favorite balsamic vinegar. Now this is really a reduction, balsamic vinegar reduction. So because the recipe calls for a thicker balsamic vinegar, so if you don't have a reduction one, you can take a cup of balsamic vinegar, put it in a pan, and heat it up to a boil, and then bring it down and let it simmer until it gets thicker. But I highly recommend this one. All right, so I'm going to start with my tomatoes, and I cut them in half because I find that a whole cherry tomato is a little too much of a mouthful, and this way we can get them to actually sit. So half of a cherry tomato, I stick a little bit of a fresh basil, and then I top it, whoops, I top it with a mozzarella ball. All right, so let's just build these. Oops, wrong end. So now, when you buy fresh basil, boy, this smells so good, this fresh basil. Oh my goodness. So my fingers were smelling a little bit like garlic from making that marinade. Those of you who know me, I don't really like garlic. I know it's healthy for you, but it's just too strong of a taste for me. And so my hands were smelling like garlic after making that marinade. So I'm really happy to be putting some fresh basil on my hands. Now you can stand them up, you could push them on their side. I kind of like them on their side. Ooh, the chicken must be done. We're gonna leave that, let that sit for a few minutes till I finish these off. So I'm just gonna make 10 of these. Depending on how many people you may have over for a Super Bowl or some special event. Yeah, we're not having that many big parties right now, are we, with COVID? But at some point we can get back to it all. Did I mix up? 2, 3. Let me cut this guy in half. It's too big. Here we go. I fan them out. Makes a little decoration. Presentation is always key. So when I worked as a caterer in the kitchen and the chefs, we had some really great chefs. Back then it was Creative Gourmets. It's really important to have good presentation as well. And all of the decorative things or that you put on there should be edible. There we go. I even did colorful toothpicks. I'm all about color, all about color. And then we'll put that last one in the middle. Now, some of you may want the balsamic vinegar on yours, some may not. So, sorry about that. You can just drizzle it on some of them. And leave the others. And that's our Caprese skewers with a little balsamic drizzle. All right, our last recipe today is buffalo shrimp lettuce wraps. It's a great high protein, low carb solution, and it's great as an appetizer, but it can also be for lunch. So we're going to start with, we have some butter. We're going to use some Frank's Red Hot sauce. some shrimp. We're going to use some olive oil to saute the shrimp with, some salt and pepper, of course. We're going to use some romaine lettuce. Now, for the appetizers, we're going to use the smaller pieces. If you want to make it as a nice lunch meal, then you're going to use the bigger pieces, okay? But for appetizer, you don't want it too big, and you want it finger food, so. And then we're going to use a little bit of red onion on top, some celery on top, and some blue cheese crumbles. If you want to have blue cheese dressing, you can, but this kind of makes it a little bit more interesting and a little less calories and fat. And then, of course, our shrimp. Okay, so let's start with melting some butter in here to start the sauce. All right, let's put the sauce in there. Every last bit. Now, I'm not big on too hot, but most people like hot, so you have to go with what people like. And I have to tell you, I made all these recipes on Sunday when we had friends come over for the Patriots game. And so I know what it takes to make these. And this was a little spicy. It was definitely a little bit hot for me. But most people like that. All right, so now I'm going to turn this down a little. So in this other skillet, I'm going to put a tablespoon of olive oil. Let's get that a little warm, and then I'll put the shrimp in. So yeah, it's a 2-pan meal, but it's very fast. It's very quick. Let's get that going a little warmer till that heats up. And then we'll put a little salt and pepper on it. Open these ahead of time. How's that oil? Is it getting nice and warm? We'll want to make sure we keep this mixed so it doesn't separate too much. Could probably even go a little less on the butter on this one. All right. Let's get the shrimp in there. So with shrimp, you really only need a couple minutes on each side. Let's put a little salt and pepper on there. That's going pretty fast, huh? So most of the time, my shrimp I buy frozen in a big bag, and then I just pull out what I need and I thaw that out. It just keeps it fresh, and then you always have shrimp just in case you want to make something quick. This really is a very quick recipe. There we go. There is some prep time when you're chopping up the celery and the onions. I mean, I skipped the onions on Sunday. But this was a really great recipe. I have a friend who's losing weight. He's doing a fantastic job of it. And so I try to make sure, of course, I'm trying to go for healthy recipes anyway, but I try to make sure it's high protein and low carb whenever I'm cooking something when they're over. And in the meantime, I'll lay out a couple of these. I guess this one is, the smaller one's good. Or we'll put some on there. And then we'll top it. All right, shrimp, how we doing? Just a little bit longer. So there's not any translucent parts. That guy needs to go in the middle. There we go. And then we're going to put the shrimp in here and mix it all around, and then we'll top it. Very exciting. Very quick, isn't it? It's not very fast. It's not a long recipe. It's just a little prep time. You do want to make it right before your guests come so that it's a little bit warm. But if you're having it for lunch, it's fine to have it, make it in the morning or as leftovers. And then you want to go with a bigger piece of endive, maybe a couple of them. It's a great, you know, if you're doing just the keto diet, this is a good thing for the keto diet too. All right, how we doing? The shrimp looks good. Now let's pour it in here. Turn that guy off and mix it into the sauce. You can put a little garlic in this as well. When you put the butter in the pan, you can saute some garlic. I didn't do the garlic on this one because I feel it's hot enough, it's spicy enough. You do have the garlic on the chicken. All right, this looks good. So let's turn that off. Let's put some on. Whoops. These shrimp have a little mind of their own, I see. Maybe a bigger one for a bigger person, someone with a heavier appetite. All right, good. Let's get that guy on there. This one in there. And then you can top it with a little celery, diced celery, little red onion if you want. Not everybody's going to want red onion, so I'll leave one off. And some blue cheese crumbles. Again, if you would prefer to have blue cheese dressing, you can. It just adds more fat and more calories. So we have our 3 simple recipes. We have our lemon chicken skewers with a nice cucumber mint dip. We have our Caprese skewers, some with a little balsamic vinegar reduction. And then we have our buffalo chicken lettuce wraps. And all of them are high protein and low carbs. So remember, the focus this year, it may be yours, it's certainly mine, is to make one small change that will make a big difference. So figure out what that is for you. You can get these recipes on my website, fittingfitnessin.com. And I want to thank you for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Get Healthy with Holly.